Hello and welcome to a rather playful post. This one is on Imaginary Boyfriends Part 3, and it includes erotic religious poetry. So it's pretty much safe for work as long as you don't listen too carefully or think about it too much. In his canticle, Saint John of the Cross explains the process of a soul reaching union with God through an allegory of a wife searching for her husband. The wife feels wounded by love and begins her search for the beloved. The wife searches everywhere for him, in despair, until they finally meet in the solitude of the Garden of Paradise. Saint John of the Cross was a Carmelite friar and priest during the Counter-Reformation, and he was arrested and jailed by the Chalced Carmelites in 1577 at the Carmelite monastery of Toledo because of his close association with Saint Teresa of Avila. Hi, Saint Teresa. While imprisoned for 9 months, he memorized a 31-stanza version of the canticle. Some years later, after 1582, he wrote down the last stanzas. After a conversation with Sister Francisca de la Madre de Dios. In his poetry, he captured a deeply feminine perspective and seemed to serve as a mouthpiece for things that the women of the time dared not say. This rather famous poem is called The Dark Night of the Soul. Once in the dark of night, inflamed with love and yearning, I arose, O coming of delight, and went as no one knows, when all my house lay long in deep repose. All in the dark went right, down secret steps, disguised in other clothes, O coming of delight. In dark when no one knows, when all my house lay long in deep repose. And in the luck of night, in secret places where no other spied, I went without my sight, without a light to guide, except the heart that lit me from inside. It guided me and shone, surer than noonday sunlight over me, and led me to the one whom only I could see, deep in a place where only we could be. O guiding dark of night, O dark of night, more darling than the dawn. O night that can unite a lover and loved one. Lover and loved one moved in unison, and on my flowering breast, which I had kept for him and him alone, he slept as I caressed and loved him for my own, breathing an air from redolent cedars blown. And from the castle wall the wind came down to winnow through his hair, bidding his fingers fall, searing my throat with air. And all my senses were suspended there. I stayed there to forget, there on my lover, face to face I lay, all ended, and I let my cares all fall away, forgotten in the lilies on that day. It seems that Saint Teresa and her ecstasies had made quite an impression on Saint John. The words she used to describe her relationship with God were not terribly subtle. I saw in his hand a long spear of gold, and at the point there seemed to be a little fire. He appeared to me to be thrusting at times into my heart, and to pierce my very entrails. When he drew it out, he seemed to draw them out also, and to leave me all on fire with a great love of God. The pain was so great that it made me moan, and yet so surpassing was the sweetness of this excessive pain that I could not wish to be rid of it. A religious sonnet written by John Donne in 1600 has a similarly conflicted relationship with sex and faith. Batter my heart, three-personed God, for you as yet but knock, breathe, shine, and seek to mend, that I may rise and stand. O'erthrow me and bend your force to break, blow, burn, and make me new. I, like an usurped town to another do, labor to admit you, but owe to no end. Reason, your viceroy in me, should defend. But is captive, and proves weak or untrue. Yet dearly I love you, and would be loved fain, but I am betrothed unto your enemy. Divorce me, untie, or break that knot again. Take me to you, imprison me, for I, except you enthrall me, shall never be free, nor ever chaste, except you ravish me. Ooh. 100 years later, Moravians' sexy ideas about Jesus were less conflicted and even less subtle. Instead of sublimating a figurative husband and wife relationship, they sublimated the literal wound in Jesus' side as he hung on the cross. If you don't know who Moravians are, I think you would call them Bohemians. They live in modern-day Bohemia. What does a bird in crosses air when it flies up to the lamb near, when round the lamb it moves and sings, and claps the Ave with its wings? Dear hearts, look, look and see, the little bird finds presently its nest in the dear cavity, from whence the church was dug within the hole where blood cast rays, the bird itself entangled has, and round the castle of the side are wound swans in the canal wide. There learns the little piper in the hole to be a dipper. So side wound looking constantly, so side hole homesick feelingly, lamb's heart to creep through so intent, so smelling for the lamb's sweet scent. On the magnetic side, so like a drop of Jesus' sweat, so quivering with love's ague sweet, like the infant leaping, so drawing breath in corpse's air, so sprouting forth wounds moisture clear, so from grave's vapors in a dew, so panting the suns sing to view, so fashioned to the slain lamb's heart, like the child Jesus in each part, so like dear Mary Magdalene, child, virgin, marriage like in one. The Lamb shall keep his bride's soul till she can kiss his sides whole. I have links to where I got these poems from in the blog post. You might find some more that are even more interesting. Verses like this were printed on cards and given to married couples in the 1600s to recite while they were consummating their relationship. Just like King Solomon in his Song of Songs, these guys understood something about marketing a religion. Sex sells. I have yet to crack the code of how to sell my book. I put a little bit of sexy stuff in my fiction, but I am not brave enough to write like the Moravians. In modern cinema, these sorts of religious themes have been explored in films like Black Narcissus. But in comparison to the poems posted above, or that I just recited, this work is extremely repressed. Thank you for watching this. I hope you found it entertaining, and please tune in to my future videos.